Beautiful. Beautiful song. Okay. Welcome, everybody, to this new episode of the Fargonauts Boys watching Twin Peaks because we're getting closer and closer to that spooky season. So, well, also, we've talked about this that we wanted to do another deep dive into a series. And the last series we did was like 3 years ago where we talked about the 10th Kingdom, which is a very niche show that barely anybody probably remembers aside from us.
I think we'll find some similarities.
If there's a troll king in this,
highest viewed videos.
One could argue that there's a couple troll kings in here.
That's true.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah, like Bradshaw said, it was one of our top performing videos. Was the last episode we talked about.
Fucking weirdly.
Strange at the very last episode.
Very weird. But yeah, we're diving into a whole nother series, a pretty short lived series, but very widely regarded as a classic, which is Twin Peaks.
Short-lived, but lives forever in our hearts.
Yep. And we're on episode 2 of Twin Peaks. This one's called Traces to Nowhere. I don't know if anybody cares to know the title of each episode, but it's just like part 2 in this whole series. This is where it gets kind of interesting, where stuff goes bonkers and you get to kind of familiarize yourself with all these crazy people that live in Twin Peaks and their quirkiness.
So, yeah, in that entire pilot that we watched, we didn't see. Okay, I'm gonna say we didn't purposely see a Bob or Man from Another Place or any of the other hallmarks. We just got enough spook in the town itself. Now we get to have a little bit of spook with our potatoes.
I'm excited. Potatoes. Give me those taters. All right, we're gonna jump in and we'll be back and talk about the second episode. Lyrics to the song.
I already did. I sang an entire Daddy Proud.
You're proud. Your dad.
Your mate
is proud. Son.
Proud of you, Gordy.
Very
Your
proud.
Proud of your gourd.
I'm your dad.
Father,
proud.
Warren Frost.
Peggy Lipton.
Everett. Jack Nance Ray Wise.
Joan Jett.
Piper Laurie. Mark Frost.
Of Frost Lynch.
So what do we think of the second episode of Twin Peaks?
Hell yeah.
A lot of cool stuff. A lot of interesting new mysteries, I would say. Like the introduction of that creepy man by that... what would you call it? It was like a bedpost almost, or...
Yeah, he was like hiding behind the bed frame or something like that.
Behind the bed frame. Just staring up, and like just that image of him just like peering, just... Ugh.
The first time that I watched this episode, I remember that being like very chilling, noticeably, just for somebody saying nothing and not even like changing their look of it on their face, just one simple little look.
When she just stares, and this was later in the episode, but she's like, "Wait, huh?"
I think part of what makes it so scary is her reaction to it.
Well, yeah, it's like, who? You think, like, did I just see a skeleton? But no, you just saw a long-haired dude in a denim jacket.
His name's Frank.
And then they zoom, and then she's like, what? What?
Losing her mind.
Just going crazy.
There's all this weird stuff happening with her, and her reactions to it, call back to the first episode. So I think it just forms a connection of, like, you feeling like every time we're going to see this character, either weird stuff's going to be happening to her, or she's going to be just like losing her mind in front of us.
She just saw like an eldritch being, just something that you can't explain or something. Like that's kind of reaction that warrants like
That
this.
was a man. That was a man who lost his keys in somebody else's bedroom and then
Yes.
didn't like want to get caught looking for them. So he had just shopped at Sears, gotten a new denim outfit, and then like, oh, don't see me.
We got a lot of good Coop stuff with the coffee, and he's like, "Hold on." Tells the waitress, "Like, hold on, I want you to witness me drinking this."
You need to be witness to this.
Other notable things that happened were,
Bobby perching like a cat.
yeah, the interactions of the love triangle. That was kind of interesting.
There's the first episode. That whole pilot was like us meeting the town. There's a good little unintentional Easter egg thing back there.
Oh yeah, in the mirror.
No, right here with that double shot of that wide right there.
Oh yeah,
Shovels in the background.
right. That's true.
But the first episode, the pilot, that was us meeting our cast, getting to know the setting, everything like that. And now we're digging in. We're starting the investigation. People are getting questioned. We're learning more and more about the intricacies of these relationships between these people.
Yep. And then we got the fish in the
really-
percolator. One of the best quotes from the show.
Drink that coffee.
Don't drink it. Huh? And they already had it. Fish.
So my
in
question
the
still stands. Why was Josie putting fish in the percolator?
She doesn't get American culture.
I think that it was something. Oh, that's a face.
What a pause right there.
I think it honestly might have been something where they were trying to communicate that she was trying to, like, even in a very minor way, like throw a wrench into Cooper's plans or to obstruct this investigation of this FBI agent that
True.
might involve her.
That could be true. And there's the scene with Leo too. That was kind of interesting.
Which scene? With
This
Leo?
one, like, well, all of them are really good. Like, this guy is so unhinged and freaking creepy.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that and the one-armed man that Hawk was trying to trace down after, Harry and Cooper saw him in the elevator in the first episode. The audience, us, are still wondering, like, all right, this dude's got to be something, right? We saw him in the first episode, no introduction. We saw him in the second episode, no introduction. And then, there's all these things that just keep popping up that are like, I want to know more about that dude.
He was doing the same thing in both episodes too. He was riding the elevator in the hospital and then getting off.
Yep.
Just going off somewhere. It's kind of like he haunts the hospital or something like that.
Yeah, the floor with the morgue on it.
I remember how last time I was talking about they at some point were going to be using Josie as like a connection to the idea of Judy in the Black Lodge.
Yeah.
I don't know if that fish thing is like a part of that or if it was just because for a long time I was like, why was there a fish in the percolator in the first place? And then it's very clear where she says, hey, I'm gonna make some coffee. We cut away, we don't see her making the coffee. Next thing we know, the coffee that Pete's now pouring, like just brewed a fresh pot. That's the shit that had the fish in the percolator. So she was the one to clearly do it.
Right.
I don't know. When you have a moment later on with her, how she ends up in this show, you kind of like, maybe it's just me, but you kind of like read into a lot more things concerning her.
That's true. Yeah, Josie is a big like linchpin in some of these stories, and you don't think it at first, but she gets thrown into things unbeknownst to her even, and then she just has to deal with it. And it's kind of she's learning English. That was the only connection she had really with Laura, but she gets pulled into all these other like avenues that she wouldn't expect.
Well, there's characters that we haven't even met yet that currently in the show she already has relationships with that we don't know about, that like Hank, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I don't remember the exact series of events, but does she, I think she might go out before the big like Wyndham Earl uh, resurgence near the end of season 2, or maybe I don't know, but like it's
Bracho
just weird
knows.
that well,
Oh.
I know.
Oh. I heard it.
It's just strange that again she ends up the way that she does right when all this other super mythical, weird, dreamy stuff is happening, and it's one of the most overt things of like, this doesn't seem like it matches up. Like the character that we've gotten to know, the chick who's putting on her makeup in the very first scene that we watch, and this kind of demure character that we continue to learn more and more about. I didn't see this coming down the road for them. So what does that mean with everything else?
Yep. And like that, there's mysteries behind everybody, and everybody has some kind of unique perspective on Twin Peaks itself as like a character. You know, if like you think of Twin Peaks as a character, and then everybody who inhabits it interacts with it differently. Like Log Lady, there's themes of logs. There's a logging, factory or whatever, the mill essentially, and then that's tied to Log Lady here, where we actually get to see her, and then we get to see Log for one. I don't know if Log's talking in this scene, but definitely Log Lady says, "I thought so," or she walks up.
It was in the script, but it's not some
Yeah, it's in one of the lines.
Like subtext in the script. It's just not anything spoken or something.
Yeah,
Called out.
Log silently broods or something.
Log thinks to himself about this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at least there's enough going on in this. I feel like no matter who you are, again, if you can get past some of the weirdness, if you're somebody that enjoys,
why the fuck is there football?
Well, because he's gonna hide something in it.
I know, but like as an audience member, you're like, what? Are they just doing random shit?
Why is this pretty young girl? Why is she just standing in this room doing a weird slow dance to herself? Why is X number of things happening? But there's there's just more scenes that are like soap opera-esque of the romance between Donna and James, or even Ben Horn and Catherine.
Yeah.
There's love triangles everywhere.
Yep, and that motivates them to, protect one another, or, do rotten things to one another if they get the chance.
We are shown, even through these love triangles and all these other little things that happen, that people are keeping secrets from each other in this town left and right, and, every which way from Sunday. But on the surface, this whole thing seems so shallow,
Yeah.
Just looking at the town, its inhabitants. Oh, they've got this little doctor and this diner that people go to and stuff. But the people in the diner and the garage and the crazy lady who's making silent drape runners. There's a love triangle going on and all this stuff. Murder, drugs.
Oh no. Oh. Yeah, we're getting close to the scene where Cooper kind of starts to put pieces of people together. Well, he gets a lay of I think in the next episode or the one after, he does the rock test, and that's where things start going kind of like I get more interested, because you're like, all right, Dale just seems like he's a dude that loves food. He doesn't really do his job that well, but then once he starts doing his method and stuff, and we should say, he did an interesting thing to develop his character a bit more. He was doing like an inversion exercise where he hung by his feet to get all the blood to his head.
He wasn't even doing curls or something that you would typically exercise that using those. It was just he was just hanging upside down having to talk to Diane.
Yep, and I think that's just part of his method too, to start the day with getting the thoughts to the top of his dome. You know,
Sure. Yeah, I can see that.
it's just a thing he does. There's a fish motif here. Whoa! Am I talking to the cat right now? Bro,
Maybe.
I don't know, dude. We just see Dale legs.
He's strapped in, and he's got the little stirrups and all.
Yep.
What ankle suspenders?
Yeah. His garters. And yeah, so interesting Dale scene, and then his methods come out pretty soon, where he does the rock test on things, and
He's clearly shown like depicted to be competent and like
well, he's
a
very analytical, very he has methods, and he has his yeah, he's you don't know if he's good at his job, but he's very like he likes to dictate things and what he's doing and dialogue and document things.
he's obviously good at some things because he sits down in the interrogation room, even in the first episode, or in this episode as well, and like he engages and just immediately has a read on people or can see
That's true.
a couple layers past what they might be concealing from him.
And that comes up where Harry and him go and drink the fish coffee, and he's like, how long have you guys been together? And he's like, what? Harry like looks at him like, how'd you know, or whatever. He's like,
Well,
body language.
The video with the motorcycle where Lucy comes in all excited. She's like, "Oh, I was typing what they were saying, but I was pretending to be typing something else." And they were talking about. He's like, "Lucy, we're looking for somebody who drives a motorcycle, starting with the letter J."
Right.
How did you know?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean
He does little things like that.
he is clearly somebody who enjoys certain parts of life, but when it comes to his work, it's just kind of very like no nonsense to a degree.
Yeah.
Until we learn more about his personal approach to it.
Yeah, he does get very serious when it comes to the work. Like he walks in after being inverted like this, and Harry's already diving into a donut, and then he's trying to chew it, and Dale's just like reciting everything that they have to get accomplished in that whole time it takes him to chew the donut, and he's like, I gotta pee. He gets out of the room quick. So yeah, he's like, Harry, we're doing this and this and this today, and Harry's like,
Yeah, in the first episode, they're walking down the hallway, and he's like, "Oh, I drove in from here. Wonderful trees you've got around here. Okay, let me just stop you here for a second now. This is how it's going to work with the FBI." Like he just flips on a dime.
Yep. But then when it's everything else, everything outside of the duty, he becomes kind of like a bewildered guy that just wants to learn things about these new places he visits and document everything.
Yeah, it seems like childlike. Like he tries to see everything with a set of eyes that seems like almost like he's choosing to be naive in certain ways.
Yeah, I can see that.
But then like I thought I saw a rabbit coming down here, a snowshoe rabbit, and he quietly says to himself and clearly becomes like contemplative and quiet. He's like, snowshoe rabbit, and then is just like goes within himself and whatever he's thinking about. That he's fascinated.
Yeah, he just gets a kick off of experiences, I think. Of new experiences, yeah. And he's like, oh wow, yeah, all right, cool.
But then the little like final words that he says to a certain character. I really don't want to say for anybody who isn't hip on this mystery. He has this like speech to this character that are like his last words to this character later on that to me read as like, okay, I want to know what the hell is on this dude's bookshelves. Like, what has he been reading that these are the things he's referencing, and what it's clearly a very important message that he's relaying, and his word choice and its content is like says a lot about him too.
Yeah. Yeah, Dale's a mystery in himself, for sure. He's a fantastic character, and he gets fleshed out too. Like he's an outsider coming to this weird, quirky town, and he has quirks, and so like he fits right in this town, and yeah, everybody, not just they could have played it like a straight laced dude shows up to a really quirky town and tries to deal with all this nonsense, but they picked a guy that's has his own quirks and things like that that fits perfectly in the town dynamic already. So yeah, that was episode 2. A lot of mysteries, a lot of fun stuff to be had. It seems like there's a lot of interesting things with characters. Like this was a bizarre scene. I remember it's kind of a one-off scene that's kind of freaky because they're there for answering questions to, was it Hawk was there? Was that who we were talking to?
I think these are is this supposed to be Ronette's parents?
Yeah.
They're talking about her being a perfume girl, or working at the perfume counter.
Yeah. The other person in the train car.
Mm-hmm. Ronette Pulaski.
So yeah,
but then it's I know that there is I'd have to like refresh myself on exactly what the names are. It's been a little bit since I've watched The Fugitive, but there's like The Fugitive, The One-Armed Man, and like I think there's some correlation with names in there where Mike and Robert and things like that.
Oh really?
But it happens within this show as well, because we have a Mike and Bobby, Mike and Robert, who are in the Twin Peaks jail cell. Mm-hmm. Then we've got, a completely different Mike and Bobby who are doing whatever they're doing.
Yep.
Hiding by people's beds and exploring where they keep the oxygen.
So yeah, we'll return next time with episode 3, and Broadshow will be wide awake and chipper like normal. Thanks for joining us as we watch Twin Peaks.
Thank you, and I hope you enjoy.